This is a funny science fiction podcast spotlight. Welcome to the Funny Science Fiction Podcast, where we tell jokes and you laugh to make us feel better. Today we have as our guest in the member spotlight, Greg Ledford. Greg has been a member of Funny Science Fiction for some time now and is one of our more steady contributors of memes and other great articles and links. Thank you for being with us today, Greg.
Thank you for having me, Greg.
Well, if you don't mind, just kind of give everybody listening a little brief history of all that's Greg Ledford so they can know what we already know. You know, Greg's kind of cool, so that's why we invited him on the show.
Let's see, do I start this like Steve Martin's The Jerk? No, let's
I was born.
Yeah. I've been a fan of science fiction for a long time, since elementary school librarian started me on this trek. And I've been reading and watching and enjoying science fiction for a long time. I've worked in as an AM radio broadcaster, currently a technology specialist working for the state, and just doing what I enjoy doing.
Great.
All right.
Well, it's nice to have you. We appreciate it. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. You mentioned in your bio that you're heavy into digital art, and everybody knows digital art is all about them fractals. So I know a lot of people in our group, and a lot of people that I know always ask me, so Greg, we'll give you an opportunity. Explain to us laymen, what's a fractal?
A fractal is just repeating a pattern over and over until you get a massively produced root of that same pattern that makes a beautiful something to look at. You can go with just two colors, or you can go with many colors, and the different mathematical formulas that go into creating the different shapes and the different patterns and things of that nature just fascinated me. And I got really hung up on it for a long time and had a lot of fun building these digital images created from mathematical equations.
Well, that's neat. Yeah. And we know that, they've kind of become the basis of a lot of the art that we see now, digital art. Now, the other
Most
thing
importantly, I learned something. I think that's what we need to focus on. I learned something now. So
see, we're educational and entertaining. There you go.
I got smarter.
Anytime we can increase Tim's knowledge, we're all doing good. So the other thing.
Let me write that down there.
Yeah, you write it down.
Today's accomplishment. I made Tim smarter. Not a hard task.
Educated him. Now, the other thing I was going to mention, since you read that in your bio, you said you liked Jordan's Wheel of Time series. And
yes.
Yeah, I actually follow Brandon Sanderson and one of his podcasts, and I was wondering, what do you think about how Brandon Sanderson handled the Wheel of Time when it passed to him? Did you get a chance to look at any of his take on it?
I did not. I completely got upset at so far in and quit. I knew that it was not going to end, and if it did, it was not going to end well. I knew it had been continued, and just off to my right here are all the books in the bookshelf, but I won't touch them.
Okay.
I got angry at the entire series.
Yeah, that's happened to me before too. So,
oh yeah, you put a lot of time and purpose into something, and if it shifts on you, it can become hard to follow it along.
Yeah. Still an interesting series. I know the first books especially were very intriguing.
Absolutely.
So you mentioned that you've been a reader. You sent us a bio of all that was Greg Ledford, a short bio there. You mentioned that you've been a reader of sci-fi for a long time. So Greg, what got you into sci-fi? You said it was a librarian, but what series in particular got you started into sci-fi? And more importantly, what keeps you coming back for more nowadays?
What got me into sci-fi would more than likely have been Orson Scott Card.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
reading, and a lot of people equate that with one particular book. I mean,
Right.
they see Ender and that's it.
Ender's
There
Game.
is so much more that he's done. Just that's what got me started on sci-fi, is beginning to read what Card had written. Of course,
Okay.
I did all the Asimov and the Bradbury and branched from there. I would say more than anything, Card's writing was what brought me into really wanting to read sci-fi.
All right. So what keeps you coming back nowadays? Not just rereading or rewatching the same things over and over again, clearly, but what new sci-fi is kind of, hitting the buttons for you?
As far as new stuff, I've branched, went out into a lot of the fantasy type stuff, but
Okay.
I like Neil Asher. I like Neil Asher a lot. I know that's not new as far as you fellows are concerned, but that's something that I happened upon just a few years back. There's a new author that I'm reading, James Maxwell, and that's more on the fantasy side.
Okay.
That I'm reading that Enchantress series right now, and that's pretty decent. I just like to see what's new out there. I like to see folks spin on. There's always a new storyline, and folks amaze me when I see what they've taken, what looks to be the same stuff, and how they turn it.
Yeah, it's kind of impressive to me when somebody can take the classic sci-fi tropes and put a new spin on it. And,
Yes.
And sometimes it's just the minimal things that they do. It doesn't have to be big, mind-blowing things, but sometimes those little things, can be pretty awesome.
Something I didn't expect.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. So also in the bio that you sent us, you mentioned that you were a big Trekkie.
Yes, I am.
All right. So I have to ask, if you could be any character in the Star Trek universe, any series, why did you choose to be Darth Plagueis the Wise?
I did not. Okay. I did not.
Tim's a little biased.
No.
I'm a little biased towards Star Trek, but that's okay. Away from Star Trek, towards Star Wars, rather.
I understand that now. Yes.
But
I'm erasing that mark I made just a few moments ago.
Fair enough, sir. All right. So if in the serious side of that, if there was the ability to choose any of the character, which Star Trek character would you choose and why? Who would you want to be?
I don't know. Going for lookalikes, a lot of folks might say Neelix, but hey, I got a laugh out of that.
There you go.
It's one of the characters I recognize. So.
Are you good to cook as Neelix? There you go.
Well, I can cook, yes.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know if I can do so well with alien vegetables, but yes, okay, we'll go there. Cisco's one of my favorite characters. I like someone who would just go ahead and, slap Q.
Right.
There you go. All right. Fair enough. Okay. So one more question here from me.
Yes.
If you were a superhero, all right, and you were filled with awesome superhero powers, what superpower would you not want to have?
What superpower would I not want to have?
Yeah, out of all the superheroes out there and all the superhero joints, why
did you walk into this?
Why'd you walk into this one?
Why did not? I don't know, gang. That's a hard question, Tim.
Yeah, every once in a while we gotta throw you one.
Then invisibility would be something I don't think I would want. Okay.
Okay.
I was the book reading geek growing up. I've spent my time invisible, so let's
you've done your
back
time.
Away from that one, okay?
There you go. Well, see, I was thinking of Marvel used to have a character called Ice Cream.
Yes.
And his superpower was that he could melt into ice cream. Yeah, that was his superpower. That's the one I would not want.
It's got to prove useful at some point in time.
Right.
Probably within this year, but I don't know what.
Well,
somewhere in 2020, it has to be beneficial to be a puddle.
Right.
Exactly. Then there's always Punctuality Man. Always be on time for everything. I mean, that could be like super speed. You'd never have to worry about anything. You'd just be off fishing or something, and then time for your
Right.
appointment, you're just there, right? Automatically, right?
But Howard the Duck had his own comic, so we can all do whatever we want to do, right?
There you go.
Anything-
Absolutely.
Anything will fly.
Hey, if you can bring in Howard the Duck into a conversation, you're all right in my book.
So we got a couple trivia questions for you.
Sure.
As we like to have a little fun with them. I think I found some hard ones for you. But if you win this, if you get 3 out of the 5 correct, we'll give you one of our Red Shirt Widows and Orphans mug. And I'll throw in, since you say you kind of like both fantasy and sci-fi, my first book was kind of a sci-fi that you didn't really know was sci-fi at first. One of those
Okay.
sleepers. It was a little bit disguised as a sword book, but it's actually a future colony or Earth called The Founder's Gifts. And I'll send you an autographed copy of that as well. All righty?
That would be amazing.
We will we'll start with the first question. And this
Yes.
is one, I got to tell you, this one, I got this one wrong. So, all right. What is the holodeck? We all love the holodeck in Star Trek, but I didn't realize this until I found this question. The animated series had a version of the holodeck, but they had a different name for it. What did they call the holodeck on the animated series of Star Trek? Pretty
No,
No?
that is an incredibly obscure question.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was called the Rec Room.
The Rec Room.
Yeah. All right.
That's what we call the server room where I work.
Yeah, exactly. So
I'm
I'll go to the
one down now. Okay.
one down. We'll go to our next question.
Is it
Number
live
2.
action? Or are you going back? Are you going back
What's
to? Is it live action, or are you going back to the animated series? Okay.
No, that's the only one out of the animated series.
All right.
That was our.
All right.
That was our
I think what he was saying is if you were going animated series, we can stop now.
Yeah, we
yeah,
can stop.
it's
now.
over because I saw like 10 episodes when I was
If this was on Cartoon Network, I didn't see it. Okay.
And done.
right. Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, now the next one's from Picard and Voyager. 7 of 9 returns in Picard, right? Now, when you
Right.
last saw 7 of 9 and her crewmates, where were they heading in Star Trek Voyager when the series ended?
When I last saw 7 of 9, they were going back out to rescue.
So it's a planet, one we're all familiar with.
So he's telling me you're already wrong,
Already.
Greg.
You're already kind of wrong there, Greg. I'm trying to help you here. I'm throwing you a line.
Yeah.
We didn't hear final answer.
Where did they
so-
try to get to?
Final
Where did they-
answer, yeah. Go ahead. Let's continue here, fellas.
They're actually headed to Earth.
Where are you finding these questions, Mr. Allen?
I knew that one. I knew that when
Yeah.
they ended that, they were finally getting to Earth. All
Well, I
right.
knew they were coming back to Earth, and then there was the Chakotay and 7 of 9. Well, never mind. You know the whole
Anyways,
story.
yeah. We
Yeah.
all right. So I'd say some of these are pretty tough. Now, in Star Trek Enterprise, okay, were you an Enterprise fan?
No.
Okay. Well,
I stopped at DS9.
Well, there was a war that was making everybody blue, and it was between the Vulcans and what other race, alien race?
Romulan. No,
Close.
they're actually the same people, but it was a guess. Great, it was a guess.
Yeah, it was the blue guys. I tried to give you a clue in there, the Andorians. And then I dug up some hard ones. Now, have you watched Discovery at all yet? Are you a Discovery fan?
No,
all right.
I have reasons for not watching
Yeah.
Discovery.
Okay, I understand. There's parts of it that are a little irritating. All right, so we'll ask this one. Where on the Enterprise is Picard when he first utters the phrase, "Make it so"?
In the turbo lift.
Ooh, close.
Where does the turbo lift?
I'll give you a second shot. Where was
On the bridge,
even closer?
10 forward.
He was in the battle bridge. We'll give you the bridge. That was
Look, I almost had the whole ship covered. I mean,
Right?
if you give me time.
Now here, how about here?
all right. When
Medical bay? No.
all right, let me ask. No. Well, let me ask
Please
another
state
one.
the nature of your medical emergency.
Redemption here. Where on earth do Kirk's renegades land their stolen Klinga bird of prey in Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home? They landed in Disneyland, Golden Gate Park, or the Grand Canyon?
Golden Gate Park.
Yes, you got that.
There you go.
Awesome. Very good. All
I
right.
got one.
You got one.
I got one. I got one. So,
And you got we'll give you the bridge one, so you two, because the
all
battle
right.
bridge, big deal. But you know what? We had fun, so I'm gonna still send you the stuff anyhow, because you were a good sport. Because those were hard questions. I wouldn't have got them.
I do
I can-
appreciate that. And I
I can
promise you the
guarantee you.
mug will get great use because I do drink. I'm an IT guy, so I drink a lot of
Right.
coffee.
There you go.
Very good.
And if it makes you feel any better, Greg, I can guarantee you I would not have gotten any of those.
I guarantee you I didn't. Okay. So I had a lot of fun though. I mean,
Well, that's the point of it.
throw in.
Hey, that's the
Right.
point of it. That's what we want to do. You're a good
Well, we
sport
really
too,
want to
Greg.
thank you for being a good sport today, Greg. You kind of gave you some sliders there, but we really appreciate your support of our Facebook group, and we really look forward to more of your funny contributions online and the comments from all of our members there. Now, I would be remiss if I failed to mention our charity, the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans Fund. Someday, red-shirted Starship crew members will die a horrible death while making first contact with the trout people of Tycho Delta 7. Learn what you can do for the widows and orphans at rswof.com. Remember, this fall, 100% of all profits from our fictional charity, RSWF merchandise sales, goes to the real charity, Wish Upon a Teen, which is a fine charity that help kids in the hospital.
Wonderful group of people.
Yes. So speaking of fish, to quote the dolphins, so long, everyone, and thanks for all the fish.
Thanks you for all you do, gentlemen.
We have a great deal from our new sponsor, Uncanny Brands. Just for our listeners here at Funny Science Fiction, get one of their Star Wars lightsaber hand blenders and get $5 off with the code FUNNYSCIFI. That's FUNNYSCIFI.
Thank you for listening or watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like us on your favorite podcast platform and YouTube. If you've enjoyed our podcast, why not come join our Funny Science Fiction Facebook group too? It's filled with giggle-worthy memes and gags. Visit our website, www.funnysci-fi.com. That's FUNNYSCI-FI.com. You can also support us on Patreon, where you can get transcripts, bonus episodes, and other fun merch. That's at patreon.com/FUNNYSCIFI. Look for links in the podcast description.
On behalf of the rest of the hosts of Funny Science Fiction, we'd like to thank you for listening to this episode. If you'd like to be a guest on one of our future episodes, please contact us by means of our Facebook group, Funny Science Fiction. You can find us on Twitter or Instagram using the handle @FunnySci-Fi, or you can go to DraytonAllen.com and click the Contact Me link at the bottom of the page. Thanks again. Hope you enjoyed the episode.
Copyright 2020 by Drayton Allen. Original music by Jordan Michaels. Reference to any specific product or entity mentioned in this podcast does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation of or by Funny Science Fiction or its sponsors. The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. If you have questions about this disclaimer, please contact us via email at DraytonAllen@DraytonAllen.com.